Welcome, nocturnal souls, to this space where shadows have a voice and laments become eternal. You are listening to The Voice in the Darkness, the corner where every story comes alive and reality blends with the unexplainable. Before we dive into today's tale, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss any story that will send chills down your spine. Tonight, I'll tell you the story of a figure that has terrified generations in Guatemala, La Llorona. Get ready, turn off the lights, adjust your volume, and join me on this journey of mystery and horror. But first, remember to subscribe and leave your comment, because in this channel, stories live thanks to you, nocturnal souls. In Guatemala, La Llorona is not just a tale to scare children. It's part of our identity, one of those legends that survive throughout centuries. It says her origin goes back to the colonial times. A beautiful woman, deeply in love with a man who never truly loved her back. Found in her children the only comfort she had. But when betrayal entered in her life, her sorrow turned into madness. Between sobs and despair, she dragged them to the waters of a river. And there, in one moment of rage and agony, she drowned them with her own hands. When she realized what she has done, she ran through the streets crying out of desperation. And soon after, she died of grief. But her spirit never found peace. Since then, she has been condemned to wander between the living and the dead, searching for her children in every dark corner of the night. And so was born her eternal lament, a heartbreaking cry that never, even the 21st century, many still claim to have heard her. A heartbreaking cry that even in the 21st century, many still claim have heard. La Llorona's apparitions are especially common near running water and places with heavy silence, rivers, ravines, and cobblestone streets of ancient towns. In Guatemala City, one of the most mentioned places is El Cerrito del Carmen, a colonial sanctuary that at nightfall is covered in mist and shadows. Neighbors swear that have heard her wail among the trees, and more than one claims to have seen a white figure descending the hill. It says you should never walk near these places after nightfall. Testimonies describe her as ethereal, dressed in white, with a cry that chills the blood. And remember what the elder says: when La Llorona sounds near, she's actually far. But when she sounds far, be careful, because that's when she's the closest to you. That confusion makes her lament even more terrifying, because you never truly know when she's just next to you. If you ever hear her cry, remember this: do not respond, do not follow her voice, and never try to face her. Run. Pray with all your strength, whatever comes from your soul. Seek light and the company of others, because many says those who stay long enough to hear her third wail never lived to tell the tale. Numerous witnesses claim to have seen a woman dressed in white, with long, loose hair, walking near rivers and deserted roads. Her cries are heartbreaking, and those who heard them feel an intense cold and paralyzing fear. Also, in La Antigua Guatemala, with its deserted streets, colonial ruins, and dark alleys, there are accounts of encounters with La Llorona. Tourists and locals have felt her wail travels across the stones, echoing between century-old walls. And not only there, in nearby towns, along rivers and ravines, the stories are even more common. Whoever walks alone at dawn may hear the unexplainable echo of her voice, accompanied by a call that chills to the bone. Picture this. You are walking along through a deserted street past midnight. The air is cold and fog wraps the ruins, and the silence is so heavy even your footsteps scream. Suddenly, the murmur of a nearby river mixes with a strange sound, a moan, a distant cry. Your skin crawls, your heartbeat races. You look around but see no one, just shadows. The cry echoes again, louder, more painful. You recall what the elder says. If you hear her far, she's near. Your legs shake, but you walk faster. And then you see it. A white silhouette in the mist, floating slowly, moving towards you, her face hidden beneath a dark veil. The air turns ice cold. Your breath cuts short. She lifts her head, and the cry tears the night again. That's the second wail. Only one remains, and you know what it means. With all your strength, you start to run without looking back. Shadows close around you. The third cry begins, stronger, closer, until its echo swallows your whole. Stories like these are not just tales. Entire town speaks of those who have heard her. Men who swear that they saw her by the rivers and were marked forever. Some claim that after meeting La Llorona, they felt gravely ill. Others say their eyes lost their light, as if a piece of their soul has been ripped away. Skeptics dismiss it as a superstition, yet every generation brings new testimonies, new victims of the eternal wail. What you're about to hear does not belong to me. It's a memory, a confession that someone wishes to tell through me. His name is Rolando, and this is his story. I was 12 years old. I lived in a quiet neighborhood in La Democracia Quetzaltenango, where the houses were packed close together and the streets were lit by old lamps that barely gave off a weak yellow glow. It was nighttime, far too late for kids like us to be outside. But back then, there weren't strict rules and movies had no age restriction. That evening, we had gone to see a film that still lingers in my bones, Dracula, Nosferatu. We left the theater laughing, trying to show we weren't afraid. There were four of us: me, Rolando, 12-year-old, Jose, also 12-year-old, Mako, always joking around, and Juan, the oldest, at 13, who was the one that invited us. Juan walked ahead with the air of leader, as if nothing could scare him. Mako mocked him and the movie. Did you see how the vampire hid his in the shadow? If he showed up here, you'd be the first to run, Jose. Jose shoved him, annoyed but clearly terrified. I tried to act brave. Though my hands were trembling in my pockets. The film had left a strange shadow in my mind, as if their creatures could crawl out of the screen and follow us home. The streets were deserted. Only the echo of our footsteps broke the silence, and the cold wind from the hills made the lamps flicker, and they could die at any moment. We walked down the cobblestone street, laughing nervously when Jose suddenly stopped. Did you hear that? We froze. At first, I thought it was the wind, but then we hear it again. A wail, long, dragged out, as if it came from far away. One tried to brush it off. Bah! That's some just drunk who lost his way home. Mako forced a neighbor's laugh. Oh, La Llorona. His joke froze our blood. The name, even said in jest, carried a weight none of us could ignore. We kept walking, faster now. The houses looked like dark eyes watching us, and each lamp flickered as though it would go out at the worst moment. Then we hear it again, a louder wail. The sound cut through the air like a knife. My knees shook. Jose clung to Juan's arm. I told you, I heard something. Let's get out of here. And then we saw her. Standing in the middle of the street, beneath the dying glow of a lamp, was a tall woman dressed in white. Her long black hair covered her face. Her feet never touched the ground. She floated a few inches above. And from her mouth poured a cry that was not human. Her weeping was so heart-wrenching, the earth itself froze. Time seemed to stop. I tried to scream, but no sound left my voice. Mako dropped the stone that he had been carrying, and Juan, the brave one, took a step back, pale as a corpse. The woman lifted her head. She had no eyes, only dark, hollow sockets, tunnels that opened into the pure darkness. From within the glowed a faint, spectral light that pinned us to the ground. She let out a second wail, louder, more painful, so close I felt my lungs tear from the inside. Jose screamed, "Run!" but none of us could move. Her third wail came like a scream of death. Windows rattled, dogs howled, and entire body froze. It felt like she had pierced my very soul. Juan reacted first. He shoved me and shouted, "Run!" My legs obeyed. We ran like never before in our lives, the cobblestones striking our shoes, never daring to look back. Her cry chased us, closer and closer, like it was floating right behind our necks. Mako tripped and fell, screaming in pain, but Juan pulled him up and we kept going. I don't remember how we got home. Only the gates slamming and shout, my mother praying with all her rosary in her hand, and a wailing fading into the distance, but never gone. That night, I didn't sleep. Neither did Juan, nor Jose, nor Marco. It took days before any of us dared to go out at night again. But me, I was the only one who kept hearing her. In my dreams, at dawn, just when the wind died down, her wailing returned. And now you hear it too, don't you? Don't fool yourselves. It's not the movie. It's not some tale. It's her. The woman in white is still here, and she's already found you.
And that concludes our tale tonight, Nocturnal Souls. La Llorona still walks among the mist and rivers and the lonely paths of Guatemala. She's not just a story. She's a warning, an echo from the past that reminds us some shadows never rest. Remember to subscribe, leave your comment, and share this mystery with others like you. Until next time, keep the lights low and the fear close, because shadows never sleep.